I've been doing a lot of reflecting, a lot of self reflection and life reflection, and reflecting on patterns throughout my life. And one of them that was brought to my attention this week that called for me to speak up about it and actually finally recognize it and address it and reflect on it was the feeling of being excluded or not included. And this reoccurring theme has been going on since childhood. The not being invited. Hey, Kamado. Not being included. Or feeling left out or like I don't fit in. But then there's always been this part of me that doesn't, bless you, that hasn't cared enough to voice it or to say anything about it. But it has bothered me enough to sit with it. And you're gonna sneeze again. Are you okay? You have some sinus issues. This extends back to even childhood and not being invited or included in like things with friends or circles, even though maybe one of the people in the circle was my friend. And I may have been included later on, but no one else there was my friend or even became a friend later. And this has extended into adulthood, where I've always had like one friend that's in a group of friends that I'm not friends with. And this is like a one friend in that group, one friend in that group, one friend in that group. And maybe it's because I require a little deeper of a connection, and my connections with people aren't so shallow. I'm not really sure, but that has extended itself into every area in my life. Into work environments and communities where everyone's doing something on the weekend and I'm not included or invited, or family events where I see everyone post something on social media but I was never included or invited, or even with like the bands that I've been in where everyone's doing something or talking about how they're going to get to this show and I'm the one that lives the farthest away, so I'm never included in those conversations. It's just assumed that I'm just going to figure out how to get there on my own, or maybe I don't even cross people's minds. This reoccurring theme, I don't know what to think about it, okay? Because on one hand, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't really care. I don't want to force people to include me or think about me, because that's not what I'm here for. But it has caused me to think about and contemplate why. what is the reason behind the bigger picture? And the only thing that I can come up with, and this is just later in adulthood, this has nothing to do with childhood, because I don't think I was that intense or deep or philosophical as a child, or maybe I was, I don't know. But as an adult, I definitely don't relate to a lot of other people. And I guess this is the reoccurring thing, even in childhood, is that I never really completely related with the fashions or trends or the conversations or the things people were talking about. I sit, observe, and listen, and occasionally give my insight, but my insight on certain topics or relationships or things happens to be a lot more advanced than some people. And I don't always feel like explaining myself or making it a therapy session with someone so that they can then do their own reflection. And so I just end up listening and asking questions. Okay. And that listening and asking questions, I'm brought to a conversation I had yesterday with somebody that I don't know very well, who brought up something, and I asked questions about it later, like 20 minutes later, after talking about a toxic relationship. She said, why did you ask me those things? And my answer was, that was the energy that was lingering that needed to be talked about. And the deeper meaning or feeling or thought was, that I didn't say, was, well, you brought it up. Therefore, it was present and you wanted to talk about it. Like, duh, I didn't magically bring up this topic and start talking about it. You brought it up, right? And maybe that's where the disconnection lies. I know that everywhere I go, even with strangers, the conversations always get super deep and intense. And I'm often told, I don't even know why we started talking about this. I've never talked about this with anybody. And I guess that's a common theme in my life too. It's like, I talk to people about things that they normally wouldn't talk about because I am aware and understand them, or I just ask the questions for them to keep talking about them. It's not that complicated, but apparently maybe other people don't ask questions because they're waiting to talk about themselves. I don't know. So in this inclusion, exclusion reflection that I'm doing, I'm not saying that I want to be included in everything. But I did mention it to family members this week. Like, hey, you never invite me, or maybe I just don't cross your mind. Which now I'm getting pity invites to things. That was not the whole purpose of that. It was just for me to reflect and say, you know what? I'm feeling this way and I've never spoken about it. So it's just me finally bringing light to the situation, and maybe that'll just cause them to do a little more reflection. I don't know. Maybe it won't change anything at all. I did not bring it up to change anything. I just brought it up to talk about it. Be like, you know what? This has always happened, and now I'm curious to know why. You know, not because I want to change it, just like, what is the bigger meaning of why? And maybe it's because we're on different frequencies, we're on different levels, and I honestly can't relate to most of the things people talk about anyways. Like, it's like I can because I understand, but I can't because I don't want to keep talking about the shit, right? Like, I don't want my conversation with someone to always be about their fucking toxic relationships, or to constantly venting about their fucking job, or constantly complaining about political and government issues. You know, I'd rather spend my time talking about science and theories and exploration and creativities and adventures and music and painting and just like exploring things and doing things and gardening and going to the dog park and hanging out with Clamato and just spending time with the earth and manifesting those beautiful things. And I think I've always been this way. I'm just now recognizing that maybe that's the difference between me and a lot of other people, and why I'm not included in their circles. Because maybe spending time with me is awkward and a little too intense for some people. I don't know. But what I keep getting from the universe is that I don't need to explain myself to anyone. And it is okay to quietly observe and to sit in the silence. And the energy is, I guess, what attracts the energy or doesn't attract the energy. So maybe I'm just in a different energy that requires or is okay with a lot of solitude and being one with nature and animals and other philosophical communities. I don't know, because I'm not even a part of one of those, honestly. I don't want to be in a cult. I don't want to be a part of anything, really. I am called to maybe create that thing that is missing in my life, whatever that is. And it's starting to grow with this YouTube community, whatever this is growing into. So that is the biggest reflection I've had lately, and it's probably a part of my healing journey, but also getting to know myself better in order to understand the world around me. What do you think, Mitchell?